Hello everyone, it's Sheila back again. Welcome to my channel. It's the afternoon now and I'm doing a little bit of my own. This is my own cardigan which I'm doing. I have the back done on it. As you can see, it's a little bit of an intricate pattern actually. It's a bit garter stitch, and this bit down here is knitting in the row below. When I come to do that stitch, it's not knitting the stitch that's on the needle, it's knitting the stitch below and taking them both off the needle. But this was a pattern, in fact actually it's starting to look rather big. I'm not sure whether it's going to fit me actually till I get it finished. I've been on with it that long and it really annoys me if it doesn't fit me. It is looking rather big. But it was a pattern I think I have for a child's cardigan, and I altered it for the for this part of the cardigan. I sort of made it up as I went along, but altered the pattern on the child's a little bit so that it had this bit down here and this here, but this was narrower. There wasn't as many stitches across there on the child's one, so I altered a little bit to make it a bit bigger for an adult's thing. And I decided, being garter stitch, that I would do the border. This will be the front, and this will be the button band. So I'm taking the chance that the button band looks all right now. It looks like it's about the right size in comparison with the rest of the cardigan. But you know, I usually do the band separate, but I thought I'd knit this with it being garter stitch. Garter stitch does come in closer and tighter when you're knitting it, because even though this is double knitting wool, but I'm using 4.5 needles on it because it's garter stitch, because garter stitch comes out really like a lot tighter if you use like the normal 4mm one. I didn't want it to feel that tight. And this is Mariner's yarn that I'm knitting this with. This was the first thing I ever knit with Mariner's, and it'll be the only thing I've knit with Mariner's when I get it actually finished. I do have, you know, some other Mariner's yarn, but I haven't knit it up yet. But anyway, that's what I'm doing with this one. And this is my time in the afternoon when I do some knitting for myself, where I've changed my time for knitting. 2, 4, 6, 8. So that I have to do a little bit in the morning if I want to do any little things, any orders for little things, or anything to do for my shop, which will just be little things I'll do in the morning. And this is what I'm doing in the afternoon, my own in the afternoon. And then I'll be doing my bigger orders, like the sweater I'm doing for Dagry. That'll be for the night time. But I have to do that because I just couldn't get anything done for my shop, and I couldn't get anything done for myself either. And I do need to replace some of my old sweaters and cardigans and things like that. Especially this sweater I'm wearing. You probably can't see it, but if I put my arm very close, you can see all the fluffy bits on it. Which this was Aldi's wool. And this, I think, was one of the worst ones I've ever had for fluff like that. Aldi's wasn't usually that bad, but this grey was. So I'm going to replace this one when I get some time. But in the meantime, what I had been doing yesterday and this morning, and this is how far I've got with this little one. This is actually for Dagry. It's for Dagry's granddaughter, this one I'm doing. But when I finish this one, I have another one for a lady called Helen. So I'll be doing hers in the morning, like the time that I do these things. So I've done the back and the 2 fronts on it, and I've started the sleeve. Now this pattern here, I have a little bit gripe with this pattern actually. You probably can't tell, but I'll show the back. But the rib, the number of stitches it tells you to cast on for the rib. I think this one I had 89 stitches. I think I had to cast on for the this is a 21 to 22 inch. I'm doing an in between size on the pattern, but it said I think it was 89 stitches for the rib, and then after you've knit the rib, the next row you decrease a lot of stitches across that row to make it down to 69 and then start this pattern. And I don't understand why they've done that, because it's making the rib quite sort of wide and loose. Where to me, I've knit this pattern, I've knit hundreds of sweaters in this pattern when I had my knitting machine, and I never ever used to put extra stitches on the rib. I had the same number of stitches for the rib as what I was doing on the rest of the body. And the last time I knit this, I haven't knit this one and sold another one. I did the rib on that one. I did it on thinner needles so that it come in a lot tighter, because I didn't like what the pattern said. But I thought this one I'll do it the way what the pattern says, and I do not like it because the rib is just not going in tight on it. And it's the same with the sides. They sort of flare out. They don't go in like, to me, like they should. But anyway, when I started the sleeve was the same. It wanted you to cast on so many stitches and then decrease so many stitches before you started this. But I decided I'm going to cast on the number of stitches it tells you that you have after you've decreased it. And I think that looks much better. You can see how the rib has pulled in tighter. It's not slack like the other one on the bottom. So that's the way I'm going to be doing this. I know that Sandra's knit this. Sandra was the lady that sent me this kind of wool to do this in the first place, and the pattern. And I know that Sandra's done this little cardigan before. And I don't know whether she noticed the same thing as me. But if you have, Sandra, put a little comment in the, you know, in the thing to let me know what you think, because I do not like the way that pattern tells you to do the rib. I've never ever knit patterns where you knitted rib and then decrease stitches to make it short, make it smaller for the rest of the. I'm not sure whether they think this pattern comes out a lot wider. But it doesn't. It measures the same as what it's supposed to for the number of stitches that you have on. But that's just a little gripe I've got with that pattern. And from now on, when I do any more of these, I'm going to do the rib without the extra stitches. I think the pattern it says, well, if I was doing a 24, it says, yeah. But 24 it says to cast on 89 stitches, which I did, and then you do so many rows of rib. It was 10 rows of rib that I had to do, and then after you've done those rows of rib, the next row it tells you to knit 5, knit 2 together, knit 2, knit 2 together 17 times, and I do not like that. And that brings you the number of stitches down to 69. So when I do this one again, I'm not going to cast on 89 stitches. I'm going to cast on 69 stitches and just knit straight up from there without doing any difference to the rib, because I do not like the way it's coming out. That's me. I alter things to suit myself, and that is just not right, and it doesn't feel right, because I don't know whether they think that the rib is, if they have that many stitches, that they've decreased it down to, whether it's going to be too tight for this. But anybody knows, well, I know myself from my own sweaters and all that, the ribs might be tight, but they do slacken off after they've been washed a few times. So that rib will slacken off a little bit and it'll be all right. But if these ones slacken off anymore, they're going to end up baggy. Because I can see it's that way anyway now. But I alter things to suit myself anyway and put that one down. But then later on I will be doing daggeries later on and hopefully get that one finished. I didn't get much of that done last night by the time I got in from my granddaughter's and sorted things out, and I think I was a bit tired as well, so I went to bed a little bit earlier last night, so I didn't get as much done as I hoped I'd get done, but I'm okay for tonight. But in the meantime, I'm going to do a little bit of this one and hope that it fits me when I've finished. Or else it'll probably end up on my eBay shop. So that's just a little bit for today. 1, 2, 4, 6, 8. I'm counting these stitches because I put every time I put this down with the pattern, I'm not even sure how many rows there is to the pattern, but I have to think about it every time I do a row until it gets back into my head, because I put it down that many times and forgot where I was on the pattern. I keep saying, no, that's a pearl there. No, that's a pearl. No, that's a plain. I get it right anyway. So anyway, that's my bit for now. I'll catch up with you another day. So thumbs up and subscribe. Bye for now.